Have your kids check this out. See if they can stream it. We're live. This is live.
You doing a live video?
This is live on YouTube. On there, so I'm just curious to see where it ends up, or does it archive at any point?
Okay.
So. I'm gonna do it down live. No, I'm not ready.
Yeah, you figure it out.
When I was up against the mirrors.
I have no idea.
Am I it?
You may be.
Here last time you met. I drove in and I don't know about something.
Oh, I know, I felt bad.
I had to.
That happens. I know. Meeting in Glen Arbor the Sunday before Halloween.
On
Right.
Sunday.
Which is wonderful.
Yes.
Halloween was so nice.
So not.
So I got
Absolutely
home.
so nice.
I read my email.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you. I thought I had one in my
I
pocket.
was trying to keep a few of them up there.
Yeah.
Oh, so I got your email. I'm like, oh no.
Oh, well.
That was my.
It looked to be, it looked like,
It was a little sketchy because I had put it, we were doing every other week, and then we realized we were bumping into this weekend being the weekend that encompasses the first Tuesday. So I said, well, are you gonna come 2 weekends in a row? And then she decided to skip
I see.
other ones. So
I see, yeah.
yeah, because that's what my friend, people that kind of like Pilates weren't even sure we were having Pilates last Monday. And they were like, well, is Chrissy doing Yamana? I'm like, well, no, she's not. We're skipping.
I don't know who this is.
Oh, it's everybody. That's a class now.
Okay, that's a class.
I just want to keep other people's mats over there, but they end up moving around everywhere.
Yeah, Halloween was,
It was miserable.
I drove into town late in the afternoon.
It really deteriorated.
And I almost turned back home because the roads were so horrendous. And then coming back, I came back around after 7. And there was a whiteout.
We were trying to decide, Jesse Martin.
Yeah.
She had come from Traverse City.
Yeah.
They barely needed help.
Yes, exactly.
So
Really awful.
we were going to do Cedar, and we were like, do we want to do this? Do we want to? Like, miserable. It was snowing.
Snowing, sleeting, raining.
It was really cold, and the kids were trying to wear their costumes, and
Quite a lot of sleep going on.
oh gosh.
I know, it's here.
It is.
And now that we're past the time changes, like, okay, let's just get dark at 5:30.
At first I feel like I appreciated the time change. Now I'm like, I don't get it. So it's not so dark in the morning when the kids get on the bus, but then when they come home from school, they can't go outside and play because it's already turning dark.
Yeah. And
So-
soon, it
just
barely makes a difference. It barely makes a difference for anybody at any time.
Yes.
Anywhere. So why not just,
Just leave it. the way it was, because I mean, yes, they're getting on the bus and it's dark, but nobody's really leaving their children alone at the end of the driveway. You know, people, you know, they're not, I don't know. Because it was nice because you'd come home from work and I didn't feel so like, oh, now we have to go to town and it's dark. Because it was still in the daylight. Still had a little bit of daylight. Now it's going to be like dark. I don't know when Traverse City is going to be like.
But it would have gotten there anyway.
Anyway, okay. So in my point. So it was going to change. I just was like, leave it.
Yeah.
That's where
This time change, this time of year makes so little difference.
Yeah.
For anyone, at any length of time, you know.
like, I don't want it to be dark. That seems like a stiff fall.
Firmer. And
I just blew it up. I don't know.
Yeah.
It made me.
No, it feels good.
I tell you, it's actually always exciting.
I'll take one.
Oh, remember Mr. Rumor, he's like, cows get up at the same time.
Yeah.
Daylight savings time and nothing.
Does not
Animals,
affect them.
you know, they're not buffalo fires at all.
Right, it's true. It's not like you're gonna trick them. The dogs still get up.
Yeah, I still have to see one tonight, or sometimes twice. That's not bad.
So what pets do you have now?
I don't have any.
Oh, does it?
Well, I have worms. I have a worm.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Those are definitely.
That's my, yes, they really are. But they can go long periods of being affected. I do.
You said you have worms?
Vermiculture.
What is a vermiculture?
It means the worms break down their food
Yeah.
and they make really good poop. And
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get really good poop
Okay.
in exchange and liquid fertilizer in exchange for feeding worms.
Okay. So you have like an area where you keep them? Like in
No, they're in a plastic.
Oh, wow.
In a closet.
That's fire. I want to come see this.
I had one for a number of years and then stopped.
And you're good.
And then I babysat Carol's worms last winter while she was like 4 months in Florida. And then we we harvested what was from there and ended up with another. Being a worm myself, which I'm not sure I really wanted or needed.
But there you go.
Oh my goodness, my sister found this. This works.
Is he-
Hi.
Easter, it's my sister's birthday today.
Alyssa.
Alyssa,
Your sister.
my sister, Alyssa. You know who that is.
I was gonna say. You're confusing me.
All right, join us if you want to. Slide out.
I just came from an incredible dance performance at Interlochen.
Oh, really?
It was Ailey too.
Oh, really?
Elvin Ailey.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my God, I don't think I've maybe had that good of, seen that good of dancers 2 or 3 other times.
Oh, wow.
It was,
Isn't that inspiring?
oh my God, it was amazing.
Okay, let's face the mirror here and let's do a setup where your toes, you can place the silver ball underneath your right sits bone, and you're gonna be able to touch the mirror with your toes on there. You're gonna bring that pelvis around in a circle. So when you get out to the straightest point on there, your toes can still get a little grip there on the wall, and do a couple of circles. And then you're gonna straighten your leg and lean forward and start looking for that line underneath on there. So you're gonna be looking for some point of stretch. Mirror. And you're gonna reach down with your fingers, feel for that texture underneath, and then you're gonna slip that black ball right on top or below that spot, and then you're gonna brace your toes against the mirror, and then just sink in. You're gonna give just a little toe pulse and push to feel the effect on that spot. And you're gonna work on releasing into your heel. Everything, yeah, there you go.
You feel like releasing, like let the heel go towards the mirror.
I want you to think like there's 3 lines on your leg. The heel can move towards the mirror while your pelvis, the sacrum is moving behind you, and you're trying to kind of surrender down into that tightest line that you feel on there. You want to relax in the face of it, try and do less. Let the floor hold you up a little bit more. And then you're going to back yourself up just a little bit on there, so that as your butt goes behind you, you're going to sink down, hang out on those hamstrings, and we're going to move both hands over to the right hand side, push down into the floor so that you're lifting your rib cage away from the leg, tractioning into the leg, and add a few circles with your foot. Circle it around. So you're going to use that circle of your foot to decide where you feel the most intense pull on your leg. And you're going to stop your foot right there. You're going to hold it and then lengthen, deepen into the stretch. And then we're going to take this whole thing over to the side. So you're going to tilt. We're going to come down. You're going to land right on the trochanter. And we're going to start another circle there. And you're going to look for a spot as you roll back towards the mirror. You're going to be able to brace your foot right against the mirror and pick up the line right above that trochanter. You should be able to kind of lock your leg in place on there. Really easy to balance. To pin down. I got to pull this shot in. I go live. Just get this big shot. Gotta go down below.
We'll figure it out.
The electronic one, so there.
These are markers on it. She's teaching herself.
You teach yourself?
Now I don't teach one right now.
Oh.
Okay, there we go. A closer shot on there, so you can pin it down. So let's take that work over forward. You're going to tilt forward, pull your pelvis behind you, and try and hit that very front edge of your pelvis on there. There's going to be a lot of scar tissue. It's going to get real burny here. Breathe into that. Now, if you want to deepen this stretch on here, we're going to take a moment. We're going to pull that black ball and you're going to put it up just above your kneecap on there. And we're going to drop down into that IT band. And then we're going to go for a quad stretch. You're going to pick up that foot in the back and hold on to it. And you can start to twist. In that case, then if you want to, you can brace your foot behind the other one so you can kick out and get the same isometric at the IT band on there.
Okay. I think I found.
There you go, yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm at the top.
Yeah, you're looking perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
And then notice that where it becomes a little kind of shaky to balance on there. So that's a clue for you that kind of sharp edge, that's going to need a little bit longer time to release on there. All right, then we're going to take it all the way around to the front. You're going to do kind of a breakdancing move. So your top leg is over the top. You're going to bring your hand down and you're going to roll all the way belly down. And you're going to be on that front edge of your pelvis and you're going to be able to brace that toe and just go into that quad. And then you've got that other black ball nearby. You can use that to push the world away and get some resistance up there. Start looking for a spot on the rib cage.
Me, I'm just going to make the rounds. Oh.
Okay, so you got that quad is pinned with the black ball, silver ball underneath your pelvis. You've been lengthening on there. So the final one, we're going to take that right knee, we're going to swing it out to the side like a figure four. And you're just going to drop and then see if you can straighten your leg just a little bit and go for just a little inner thigh stretch. Yeah. So you can see where that black ball is under the inner thigh, reaching out. Once again, you can add in some ankle circles, searching.
Let's just stay here for a little bit.
There you go. Just sink into it on there.
It's always expensive. Oh, God.
So I found a new way to describe this week. As you get into that stretch feeling on there, you're feeling 90% of your cells are telling you that they're ready to go on there. They're ready to keep going with the stretch. 10% of them are telling you that they can't go yet on there. And of that 10%, that little bit of burny bit, that's the scar. It's making everything slow down in that area. When you're ready, you can slide off and take a break on there and lay flat. And see what you notice.
I'm doing lovely. I know he's like, this wasn't his like.
He was outside the earlier part of the day.
He's just, he wants to crawl on your head.
My therapy couch. I need one. You can't be
Perfect
perfect.
piece. I wish I could achieve that relaxation.
We're gonna get there.
That much relaxation. Wonderful, the view. Right across the room.
juice her motor up.
The stretch toy gives it so much more peace than the other one
Yeah, feel how light it is.
is. Yeah, it's just got so much more peace. Not twitchy or achy or,
Other side.
oh. I just switched sides.
I'm just.
Okay.
Okay, there's your sits bone. Yeah, you want to be able to take your butt in kind of a nice circle in both directions. And when you're at the straightest part of your leg, you just got a little tap under the mirror for some control. So you're going to start by searching around an ischial tuberosity with a couple of circles. And then you're going to go still and then pause and lengthen as you lean forward on there. You're going to feel a line of pull down the back of your leg on there. And you're going to start by investigating it. You're going to slip your fingers underneath and you're going to grab onto that spot where you're feeling the sensation on there. And then you're going to discover that there's a texture in there. There's this stringy, lumpy, chunky stuff. And you're going to take your black ball and you're going to slip it underneath so it pins right into that texture. So you still got a little brace control at the mirror. Sink in and start to explore what you've pinned down. Pin it down and hold it. And then you're going to do a search circle with the foot. Both directions. And notice as your foot moves, if anything gets kind of choppy or bumpy, that's an indication of a problem. Yeah. You're going for a perfectly smooth, at the slowest speed possible circle. Anything that's got some angles or edges, I've come up with a new term for this. It's the skid on there. As you're going around before, you have traction and control. And when you go for that quick movement, it's because you hit something that is making you skid and slide and you lose control and you pick it back up at another point on there. And if you can slow down the work at the point of the skid, you have landed on the scar, and then you just have to wait for it to melt and restructure. So we're going to slide your pelvis back about a half an inch so that that silver ball moves forward closer to your knee. You're going to drop into those hamstrings on there, deepen that line a little bit, add a couple more test circles with your foot. And then we're going to move over to the left side of the body. So you're going to drop your hands over to that side and you're going to lift, straighten your arms. You're picking the ribs up, extending, and you're pulling the pelvis behind you until you get that nice, twangy, burny kind of stretch. And then you're just going to hang out and wait for it to fade. Breathe into that. Yeah, wait till the intensity fades several levels on there. Think of that, the intensity popping up is telling you to slow down and give it more time, because time is what you're working on in your body there. Breathe into that. All right, now you're going to start a little search move. You're going to begin to roll on that silver ball. That's the big bump of your greater trochanter up at the top of the hip and the pelvis. Just stimulate that bone by taking it in a few circles. And then you're gonna drop forward. You're gonna slide into the mirror so that your toe braces you. And you're gonna pick that black ball up and you're gonna move it just above your kneecap. So now you can drop into the IT band on the side. So your foot's gonna pin you and you can kind of hang out. We're in the big track on the side of the pelvis. You're gonna feel that silver ball kind of brushing across the top of that greater trochanter. On there, as you search from front to back on there, pin down some of that tight burny stuff that you're feeling and spend some time weight with that. Breathe into it. Notice where else you're feeling some sensation down your leg. Now we're gonna drop that chest way down to the floor, tilt as far forward as you can. If you wanna give your arms a nice workout on there, keep it on the palms and use your shoulders. If you need a little more like stress relief on your shoulders, you can drop down to your forearms, whatever feels right for you. Pin it down. And then we're gonna go for a deeper quad stretch on there. You can keep that area, whatever you find that needs some work up high. We're gonna cross that top leg over, set it on the floor to stabilize, and you're gonna bend your knee from the mirror. Bring that foot behind you and grab your foot. Do a cross-handed grab and work that IT band. And you're gonna be able to go from the side of the leg and start to pivot around to the front. When you feel a tight, restrictive line, hold on there and add in an isometric. So you've got a couple places pinned with the balls. And now you're gonna kick out with the foot against your hand. If your hand wasn't there, the foot would straighten. You're gonna stop that pressure. So all that pressure gets sent back inside of the body. It's being amplified. The 5 pounds, 10 pounds of effort that you're kicking out with is getting amplified by the entire length of your leg, going back to that hip. And then you can start to try one where you kind of clamp down with your thumb into the middle of the arch of your foot, hold on to that toe, and then twist your hips behind you and roll out from underneath and feel that drag back up to the armpit and the shoulder blade. And let it elongate. Nice spot, yeah, just give it a little while to rest on there. Think about some of those areas where you're starting to feel some sensation up in the rib cage, because we're going to be heading there next. All right, and then you're going to start to pivot face down to the floor. You're going to do a little breakdancing move, roll around to the front. That silver ball is going to end up under the front leading edge of your pelvis on there and underneath the quad on the other leg. See if you can feel some of those layers in the quadricep group on there. There's a lot of points on the thighs where you're going to get entrapment between the muscle layers. And if your pelvis is being pulled forward and kind of pinned to the top of your thigh, that's going to tip the entire torso forward on there, and you can't operate from that angle. So you have to kind of collapse at the ribs and sit everything back on that torso. So we're going to lengthen all that out, open up the hips on there. And we're going to be working on that relationship on the side of the rib cage next.
Like home. It was just my mom. Put my mom's foot into
Do your final move, which is going to be the layout, that thigh to the side. The other side. So you got the ball under the quad. We're doing this on the left in actuality, but you're going to flip out to the side. Oh, there we go. Went line for a second there. Interesting. I'm amazed. Your connection seems to have plenty of bandwidth here. Maybe you should try contacting Vicky tomorrow morning
Yeah.
and try this again. This is what they want down there. We're gonna figure out this other way to. It makes everybody quiet in class, though. That's the thing. It's like my place when I'm teaching on there. Everybody's like, I don't really be in the shot on there, so. Okay, so let's take it to the side of the rib cage from there. We're gonna reset. Why don't you guys do your right hand side? So you're looking at me on there. And gotcha.
Look in the mirror, just look at. Oh, I don't. You're right. You're right. If I can figure that out.
Oh, it should be. Okay, so you're gonna set up again with your toes at the mirror. So you got the longest line possible on there. You're gonna stretch out and you're gonna find the bottom of your fixed rib cage. So you're gonna slide your pinky up until you find the bottom rib on there, and you're gonna add about 3 more fingers for safety on there. And we're gonna towards the armpit. We're gonna set down, find that edge, and pin it down on there. Just be able to just gently roll front to back. Oh, no, that's too sore. I can get you a different ball. Okay.
I do. I don't think
Oh, no, you're not ever. You're going into it.
yes. I can see it.
So you're going to be searching that line of your rib cage to start with.
Oh.
So as you do that front to back search, you're going to stop and pin down something that feels like it needs a little extra work on there, and just pause and hold. And you're working on pushing into the ground. All right, Kitty's going to photobomb on there. So you're lifting the upper ribs up as you reach the legs actively towards the mirror on there. And then you're going to take an extra black ball there, and you're going to tip the top knee over, drop your just above the knee joint on there so that you can roll forward. You really want to melt off the ball. This is very passive on here as you're trying to show your brain that you are not holding up your legs, that you're not walking, and you can drop down and listen to that line. Breathe in something that feels stuck. You're going to squeeze down with the top leg into the ball and then roll the rib cage away from that knee on there. And you're just going to feel kind of an interesting pull at the middle of the torso there. On there, and then let it relax. Drop into that Feel that kind of effect over to the other side where the ball is pulling on those ribs. All right, now we're gonna move that silver ball up closer to the armpit. You're gonna slide your whole body towards the mirror, roll up a couple of ribs, prop your head up with that floor side hand, and breathe into that. Once again, you're gonna do a little search in the vicinity, and we're gonna drop forward, bring your chest forward, and kind of feel the angle of the muscle that you can push behind you with that silver ball. You can pick up a nice thick layer and kind of push it to the back. Feel that drag. And again, when you feel that drag, that's when the work is happening. That's when the processing is going on. And there, that's stuck, not yet, go. And then 10% of that is the scar that you're looking for. And the burny bits, the sensation, the achy bits, these are all different sets of data about what's happening inside of your body. Let's start a twist on there. You're gonna start to extend the arm that was holding up your head out along the floor, twist and rotate the ribs up towards the ceiling. You can slip your top hand behind your head to support your neck. And pause there. Kind of hang off of that floor side hand. See if you can let the neck relax, even press it back into the support hand. And listen to the muscles alongside the shoulder blade up above that silver ball. Finish with an isometric. You're going to gently pull your head away from that extended arm on the floor. Kind of grip from underneath with your fingertips and gently pull it away from that shoulder. And you're going to press back with your head into those fingertips or towards that outstretched hand. Feel the muscles engage down in the ribs. A curve, and then relax, release, lengthen out. See if you can open up that rotation to the ceiling just a little bit more. And then we're going to come back. You're going to plant that floor side palm, reach up with the elbow of that hand behind your head, twist and curl and come all the way down. And you're going to put that top hand down on the floor and gently push yourself away. Try and pull your rib cage out from that palm that's like a suction cup on the floor. Your right hand, the floor side hand, is the one out in front that you're hanging off. So your left hand is pushing you away from your right hand, and your whole body is kind of tractioning behind. Draw that right arm up into a bend, and we're gonna roll yourself just a little bit closer to the mirror till that you feel like you can catch the edge of your shoulder blade. There you go. And then when you find a nice area that you want to let that work for a while, you're going to take one of your extra black balls and you're going to pop it up just an inch or so above the knee joint on here. And what we're looking for is just a little fulcrum. The higher you go, actually, let's start about halfway up the thigh. So I want you to be able to do is see if you can flip onto the side of your IT band. And then then you can add the third black ball if you want. If you can get up onto the IT band and handle the pressure, you can pop it into under the hip from the back. And you'll have a nice 3-point roll. Yeah, bed is such a great place to do this because you can hang onto the mattress. It really softens it up. And you can stretch out any direction that you want to. What I want you to reproduce here is somewhat the action of standing up or pushing off, kind of like you're walking upstairs, and feel the relationship between that rib cage and what's going on at the knee and the stuff at the side on there. Because a lot of people who've got knee problems, okay, up above, those ribs that were so sore that you couldn't put the standard ball there, it's because that's where the muscle is really having the problem on there. That that is so aggravated that it's having to send the load down to your leg to stop the damage from occurring up here. And check out what scars you can find at that midpoint ball. That's the founded face right there. The giant snarl. And then, so again, feel that scar. And when you get into that really dense, burny stuff, you're going to have to wait for quite a while. On here, you have to wait for it to give way on here. And I think this is like inertia on there. There's a certain amount of pressure and time. You're using a visual of like a lone guy in like a snow globe with a giant like pyramid-sized block and a single rope. It's over his shoulder, and he's gonna move that block, but you've got to hit it kind of like a train locomotive, and eventually the entire chain of cars is going to pull. You're getting a nice spasm in your quad there. But you got to persist with that steady, continuous pressure to overcome the friction and the inertia to get it moving on there. Might try rolling up even a little bit higher with the ball.
With this.
There you go. So they have a little more support.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Okay, and then you're gonna see if you can turn that into, you're gonna grab the ball out from underneath the thigh as you roll to your back on there, and then so you roll on the back of the shoulder blade, explore that outside edge of the hip and pelvis. And as you go to the back of the shoulder blade, if you can find some areas that are really talking to you on there, you can reach around with do a cross grip with your extra hand to that elbow on the ball side. Grab your elbow once you found it, pin down a good spot on the back of the shoulder blade, and it'll stabilize and let you do lots of isometric. Tricep, you can go across your body towards the center with the inside, working the pectoral muscles, subscapularis. You can go to the outside for deltoids, part of the triceps. You can attempt to straighten the arm. And this is where a lot of the stuff you got to play around with it. And as you're rolling around and the pressure in the ball at the back of the shoulder blade creates something down the arm, grab onto that part of the arm with the fingertips. Dig in where you feel the sensation and find the texture that's going to be in that area. There's always going to be a texture. That lumpy, chunky bit, that is the cause of your problem. That is the entrapment site. And when that lumpy, chunky bit goes away and it's smooth on there, there won't be any more pain on there. There won't be any more tears. And you're going to take that down to a roll where you get real low, once again, on the rib cage. Extend your leg out, see if you can balance by those toes underneath, and just dig into the bottom of your sits bone. And you're going to work on extending the spine out from the wall. So the world isn't going to move past your toes. You're going to be able to keep pushing into the mirror and reaching and creating more and more and more space between the ribs. You go back. Any place where your brain objects and gets all tense, like, oh, you're going to fall down, show it the floor. You only have 4 inches to fall. You can figure this out. All right. Gently roll that off both balls. lay flat on the floor. See if you can slide those out from below you and lay flat and see how you feel. Notice both sides of your body on there, how they're striking the floor, where the shoulders are hitting the floor. As you take a couple of deep breaths, feel the difference in the amount of space that's in the rib cage. Yeah, look globally. Use the reference point of the floor, your feet, where the ball of your feet is hitting the mirror and the wall. Your shoulder blades hit the hips. All right, and then we're going to set up for that second pass on there. So you're going to flip over once again. Extend the leg so you're straight leg and toes from the wall, and you can pull your ribs up as high as you can go. Find that bottom rib with your pinky, add a couple more fingers, and then sink down.
Oh my God, doggy family. Look at this. Look at this. Oh my God. It's so beautiful. Look at him. Oh my God. He's a big boy. He looks that's what he looks like. He looks exactly what he looks like.
What are those things, the tardigrades? They're like the water bears that swim around with the
The who? The water bear.
water bear. So look it up. They're really fascinating creatures. They're little microbial creatures, but they look kind of like a fat worm with like 6 kind of teddy bear legs that swims, and they have little tiny claws at the end. Yeah.
And they're microbial.
Yeah.
So
They live in pond water.
You have to see one of them.
Yeah, tardigrade. Because- But that's their affectionate street name is the water bear.
Look at him. Oh my God, that is so.
I'll do it from this side.
It's like the dog that kicks his leg. You found his spot and he starts swimming.
Okay, so you guys are gonna work your inner thigh by taking the top leg, bending it 90 degrees out in front, and then resting the knee on a black ball. And then that's gonna let you twist down and forward and just sort of hang off both balls. You're going to push into the floor with your hands so that you can pull the rib cage underneath you. Pull it away from the top knee, and you're trying to flatten out and spread, kind of like Spider-Man climbing a wall. And breathe into any of those tight, burning, pulling places that you're feeling on there. All you gotta really do is concentrate on the burny bits on there. Those are the scars. They're processing themselves out.
Oh, hi.
And do a series of stops for several breath cycles
Oh, yeah.
as you work from the front, twisting as far around away from that knee as you can. Pull that top shoulder back and really separate it from the rib cage.
Oh.
And then come down to 90 degrees. So your next move, you're gonna pick the hip up off the floor, lengthen and roll towards your feet. So you roll up just a couple of ribs. So you are now completely off that lower edge of the ribs. You're fully in the fixed ribs and kind of just brushing into the bottom corner of your shoulder blade. And sink down and breathe. And you can support your head on the hand of the floor side arm. Breathe into that and tip forward.
Oh my.
Pull your ribs back as you press into the floor with your top hand. You're going to roll the rib cage up towards the ceiling, trying to pull those ribs as close to perpendicular to the floor, leaving the hand, top foot. Breathe into anything that feels stuck. Work on some isometrics with your neck. So we're going to stretch the floor side arm out in front of you so that you can stick your palm to the floor like a suction cup. And then you're going to start to rotate your rib cage towards the ceiling. Slip that top hand behind your head. And when you get kind of hung up and stuck, just stop there and hold. And try and surrender and relax into stuff that you're feeling. Really use that friction of the palm against the floor. It's going to hold you in place, and you're going to work on relaxing around the ball, showing your body that you can't fall down. Try and kind of fall backwards over the ball, really kind of push the edge. It's okay if you roll off, you lose control in there, but just try and find that balancing point where the stuckness is keeping you from rolling any farther. And then see if you can move around inside of that stuck zone. How many different ways can you twist off of the earth or push against something or rotate, peel stuff away? This is where you just start to play with the work. And then you're suddenly going to feel like, oh yeah, that totally gets into the area. Let's hold there. And you're waiting for the next things to happen inside of you, those sensations that show up after that. That's the process happening there. Feel that space opening up. Ooh, it's really twingy right there. As I can barely move in a curve. It's a very sort of choppy, bouncy. There's small zaps of pain every time I move any of these areas. Go down your arm.
You know, you don't not even, oh my God, I got it right there.
To stacked at 90 degrees, you're going to bring that hand over your head, pick up your hip, and traction downwards with your whole body. You're going to roll up until you find that full side of the shoulder blades with the silver ball. And you're going to take a black ball where you're going to pop it underneath the side of your thigh. And that's going to roll your hip up off the floor. And you're going to take your last black ball, slip it under from the back, under the side of your pelvis. So you've got a nice support triangle here. You can go in for a quad stretch by grabbing your foot. Since I'm reversed, I can put my hand against the mirror. That's another option. You guys got feet against the wall. Breathe into it.
Oh my God.
So as you feel the silver ball kind of push the whole triangle of the shoulder blade behind you. So as you tilt forward with the ribs, that shoulder blade is going to ride behind you and cut underneath it. And if you have something to push off of another wall, this could be a couch, door frame. Door frames are great because you can hang onto them and hang by one hand. Find your combination. You're looking for adhesion points that run from the ribs through the hip down to the thigh and the leg.
I don't know what point I have to surrender to her.
Maybe take all the, between 6 and
Yeah, all right, we'll go on.
Trisha, try that third ball.
Yeah.
Instead of try it under the middle of your the floor side leg.
The middle.
Yeah, so now you're on a tripod.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, so much better. Oh, that's holy. That's such a spot. Oh.
Bye-bye.